Welcome to Conversations. I'm Muqtadar Khan, your host, and today I'm going to talk to you. Okay, people are here. Welcome to Conversations. Welcome to Conversations. I'm Muqtadar Khan, your host. I know everybody is currently obsessed and focused entirely on the India-Pakistan conflict. But I do want to talk about some important developments. Remember that the strength and power of a country is dependent on its economy. The stronger your economy, the stronger your military force, the stronger your military budget, and your greater your capacity to fight long wars. Hi, Amit. Uh, and so I do want to talk about the economic developments that have taken place in the last 3-4 days, which are of great significance to India, to the United States, to China, and to the global economy. And if you do have questions about the wars, I will be happy to answer them after I finish my monologue, which I hope to keep it to 10 minutes. And then tonight, again, I will talk to you about the India-Pakistan affair, the war, the tragedy that is ensuing. And as I have already said in the past, that it is no more strikes, it is a full-fledged war that is taking place. So as far as the global economy is concerned, hi, Sohan. This is the second time you're in the top 3 people that have come. Thank you very much for your support. So 3 things have happened which are very important. Number one, that for a long time, since this whole tariff business unfolded, we were under the impression that India would get the first bilateral trade agreement with the United States. India was way ahead. India had made concessions while everybody from European Union to China to Japan, Canada, and Spain were coming up with counter tariffs, were attacking Trump, were expressing their outrage, and were critical of Trump. The Indian government was proactive, was preemptive. They were prepared for it. In fact, when Prime Minister Modi met with Donald Trump, he was the 4th head of state to meet after Bibi Netanyahu, Abdullah, and the Prime Minister of Japan. So he already came with concessions. India had already reduced the tariffs, say, on luxury cars from 150 to 75%. And so India came after reducing some tariffs and with the open mind to reduce more and to ultimately get a bilateral trade agreement so that the current India-US trade of manufactured and goods and services, which is about $130 billion, with the goal to make it $500 billion. So India sees it very positively that if we reduce tariffs, it will only increase trade, and that is good for India as well as for the United States. So there was also all of these perceptions and feelings that India would get the first trade agreement. In fact, the way Donald Trump announced it yesterday is, I'm going to announce tomorrow my first trade agreement with a big country which is highly respected. So all of us thought it was going to be India, and then he announced that it was Great Britain and not India. So my question is, where is India at the moment on this bilateral trade agreement? We are not hearing much from the Indian side. We are not hearing much from the US side. In the last 10 days, there's only one major comment that I noticed that came from Donald Trump, in which he said that India is going to reduce all the tariffs to make it nearly zero. So there's only that one comment from Donald Trump that is available to us. So first thing first, the United Kingdom has had the 2 biggest wins of its economic history since its Brexit, I should say. So UK got a free trade agreement with the US yesterday, or a bilateral trade agreement. But day before yesterday, they announced a major trade agreement with India, which is hopefully beneficial for both countries. The current trade between India and England is about 57 billion US dollars. And the assumption is that this new bilateral trade agreement between UK and India will raise the trade by up to 60%. Expectations are that it will go up to 34%. And hopefully in the next 5 to 10 years, India will also have $100 billion worth of trade with the United Kingdom. There were some sticking points. One sticking point was on social security. So if you are a temporary worker from India working in Great Britain, and you're paying British taxes, then they will also tax you for your social security. That is like the Provident Fund of Britain, you could say, or retirement fund. But since these people were not retiring and they were returning to India, they were paying double. So they are paying taxes in India because they're just temporarily in Great Britain, and so they are temporarily. Reshma, I'm live. Okay, I'm live. So just wanted to let you know that Sultan is getting excited. Yeah. So so people were paying taxes in UK and they were paying taxes in India, and that was a sticking point between India and Britain for a long time. In fact, many people were unwilling. So, I mean, the argument from the British side was that if you're working in the UK, you're using health benefits. If you have children, your children are going to schools, etc. So why wouldn't you pay into the system? And Indians have the record of being the people who overstay their visas the most. Britain was reluctant to do that, but now they have agreed, and apparently they have agreed to 1,800 work visas per year. But it's interesting, it's not targeting IT people, it is more for musicians, yoga teachers, cooks, etc. So I find that quite interesting. So India has now a bilateral trade agreement with UK. UK has a bilateral trade agreement with US as well. So you could say that when it's in the post Donald Trump era, in the post globalization era, Britain is ahead of everybody else because it has the trade agreements with two of the top three economies in the world, which is the US and India. But what is happening with India? Tomorrow, or not tomorrow, on Monday, US begins trade negotiations with China. The Secretary of Commerce is going to Switzerland, and even before the US trade delegation meets with the Chinese trade delegation, Donald Trump has announced that he's reducing tariffs on China from 145% to 85%. The first lot of ships with goods with 145% tariffs are reaching the US this week, or maybe today or tomorrow. But until now, all the ships that were coming were with the earlier 25% tariffs that Trump had posed immediately on China, Canada, and Mexico. So the US begins its negotiations with China by reducing tariffs from 145 to 85%. That clearly signals the United States priority, and it should be that because the trade between United States and China is over close to $600 billion in goods and manufacturing, even though China gets most of it. But the US still exports $150 billion. In 2023, the US had exported $150 billion worth of goods to China, which is more than the total trade between India and the US. So now, where is India on this question? That is the question. And if there are negotiations going on, how are they happening? Are they happening by Zoom, by phone? Because neither Piyush Goyal has come to the US in weeks. Dr. Jaishankar has not come to the US. Prime Minister Modi was here in February. We are in the month of May. And the tariffs, the reciprocal tariffs, sit in July. But I don't think there's any pressure. Donald Trump's, none of his policies are set in stone. They keep changing. The way he changed China's tariffs, reciprocal tariffs, or whatever they were, 145. He didn't wait till July. He didn't wait for the negotiations to happen. He's trying to build confidence by reducing 45%. So reducing by 65% by 60% to 85% tariffs on China. So that is my question. So why am I bringing this question up? Why does it matter? Because the big question really is India-US relations cooling off? That is the question. And one manifestation, there are two manifestations of India-US relations cooling off. One, under Joe Biden, the last 3 years or 4 years of Joe Biden, there was this constant rhetoric. It started with Biden as well as Blinken saying that US-India relations are the most consequential relations of this century. Let me repeat that. US-India relations are the most consequential relations of this century. That is how Joe Biden saw India-US relations. And so there were so many meetings between Blinken and Dr. Jaishankar, Biden and Prime Minister Modi. Modi was invited to the US. He spoke. He had two, one official state dinner and another meal with the Bidens in the White House. He addressed both the houses of the Congress and so on and so forth. And then he came back again and visited Biden in his own house right here in Delaware, less than 20 miles from my house. So there was a lot of this going on, and it was very clear that the United States and India were great strategic partners. We don't see that with Donald Trump, even though everybody in India thinks that Donald Trump is very pro-India because he has Kash Patel and because he has the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, is Hindu, and all of that. Mike Waltz was the head of the India caucus, who became national security advisor, but now has been kicked from his job and sent off to the UN. So there was all this perception that this administration is more India friendly than the Biden administration, which, while moving along on trade and other issues, was also demanding or criticizing India on human rights and its treatment of minorities. So every year, Blinken would issue a statement that we are watching India, we are observing India. So the question now is that on the trade, India is not the first. Trump, even though he said that the three countries that they were really looking forward to was Japan, South Korea, and India, the Asian economies, the top three, other than China, economies. So basically, for Donald Trump, Asian economies are priority: China, South Korea, Japan, and India. But he got this deal from UK. Now, India's deal with UK is very important because India is trying to signal to Donald Trump that India is willing to make huge concessions. It has dropped concessions, tariffs on whiskey, on Bentleys. So rich people, I think tomorrow Ambani and Adani are probably going to buy a dozen Bentleys. All the rich people who can afford to buy a Rolls Royce will be buying those, Land Rovers. Expensive British cars, expensive British whiskey will be very cheap, so on and so forth. Some critics are saying that two things that UK exports to India, one is silver and another is scrap. So the tariffs on scrap is zero, and there is no change on tariffs on silver. So it may not really be as good a deal as some people are thinking, but there is enough scope for growth, and definitely you will see a major spike in India-US trade. Some people have warned that, look, 80% of all trade in the world happens outside free trade agreements. So having a free trade agreement is not like a silver bullet that solves all the problems. So the question really remains now is India-US relations cooling off, especially because during this crisis with Pahalgam, with Pakistan, the United States has tended to be more neutral than pro-India. Even though there is strong condemnation of terrorism, there is no condemnation of Pakistan. And if you look at the messages that Marco Rubio gave Shehbaz Sharif and Dr. Jaishankar, both of them, you can see the readouts on the State Department's website. They are nearly identical. They're absolutely identical, with the only difference being that one sentence where they condemn terrorism and express sympathy for the victims of Pahalgam, and then express sympathy for the civilians. With Pakistan, they also express sympathy for the civilians that were killed in India's Operation Sindoor, and they also encourage Pakistan to collaborate with India in trying to find out who the terrorists were responsible for Pahalgam. So other than that, the US is trying to play a balanced player with both of these things. So my question is US-India relations today as hot as it was when Biden was president? That's my question. We will seek to answer it in the near future. So are there any questions? अच्छा, so there is a Atya Kamasani says, Khan Saab, hum bhi Hyderabadi, lage raho on what you believe and be flexible to change opinion based on learned facts. To hope to see you talk in Telugu. So Telugu koncham koncham vastundi. You know, in the past I would just say koncham koncham, but now I'm able to remember the word vastundi, which means There's 5 days in Hyderabad. I was able to. A lot of Telugu came back because I was hearing a lot of Telugus. Uh, Shreya Patel is here again. Thank you for watching again. I saw your name last time too. What do I think of these wars overall? Oh my God, the major wars. The war in the Middle East is not a war. Israel, one of the most powerful countries, a nuclear power with an unlimited budget and military access from the United States, is hammering an unarmed population, is bombing women and children to death. It's just an ongoing daily massacre. It's not a war. It's a genocide that the world is watching, and it is a reflection of the morality of our times that nobody's even talking about it. Okay, if I did a show now on the massacre in Gaza, there will be like 10 people watching. So that is one global tragedy. The Financial Times had a very good op-ed, not an op-ed, it was a statement by the editorial board of Financial Times saying that the West should be ashamed of itself for ignoring what is happening in Gaza. But the good news is that increasingly Donald Trump is getting tired of Bibi Netanyahu. And so you saw that with regards to Houthis, America's deal with Houthis does not include Israel. So America will not shoot at Houthis, Houthis will not shoot at America, but the Houthis will continue to shoot at Israel. So there is some progress where America is saying, okay, American foreign policy will be America first, not Israel first. As far as the Russia-Ukraine war is concerned, there's no progress. Russia continues to bomb Ukraine. There is no ceasefire, and America got its minerals deal. So the only winner in the last 3 months in the Russia-Ukraine war has been the U.S., which has now a share in rare earth minerals that Ukraine potentially has. We are not going to cash in on it in soon, immediately, but over the long run. Now, as far as the India-Pakistan war is concerned, I think it is beginning to cool down already, unless Pakistan retaliates by crossing the Indian border and hits targets in India. Right now, there is more action on television screens and social media than there is on the ground. So yes, the war has gone from air warfare to drone warfare, which is very different. The drones are very cheap. In fact, the drones that India is using are like the Iranian drones. These are designed by Israelis, made by India in Bangalore. They are kamikaze, which means they are just one-way drones. They don't go and bomb and come back. They have no payload. They are just flying bombs. They go and crash. So they are suicide bomber drones that India has been using. And Pakistan is also using drones. So that war, I think, will peter out soon. There's a lot of pressure from some international sources. The Saudi minister was in India and Islamabad, in Delhi and Islamabad. Adil Zubair, the Iranian foreign minister Abbas Araghchi, was there. So there is some progress on the diplomatic side. Very interesting question from Asad Ali. So continues to be divided because of Trump and J.D. Vance. Yes, the U.S. administration is divided. There are too many neocons in the administration. And, if you had asked me about J.D. Vance 3 months ago or 4 months ago, I would have said, oh my God, he's the biggest piece of shit in this administration. But now, increasingly, I like J.D. Vance more than anybody else in that administration because he's sticking to America first. If you notice the signal leaks that were going on about U.S. attacking Yemen, it was J.D. Vance who said, why are we attacking the Houthis? Very little of U.S. trade goes through the Suez Canal. Most of it is Europeans. And now, again, you see the U.S. making a deal with the Houthis without Israel. So I think this is J.D. Vance. So there is a very pro-Israel segment inside the Trump administration, which is Israel first. And then there is indeed a MAGA group, which is America first. And there's a struggle going on. And they got the first win by kicking Michael Waltz out. Michael Waltz was a very good friend of India, but basically he was an Israeli stooge plotting with Netanyahu on how to use American forces to advance Israeli interests in the Middle East. So yes, there is a division in the administration. And of course, there's also disagreements on tariffs. And then Trump brought back tax on rich people just yesterday. and that should freak out traditional Republicans who have taken a lot of money from billionaires, etc. So there is indeed some issue of divisions between them. Uh, Radha, do you think India has lost 4 jets, including Rafale? 4 are too many. Uh, but I do think that India has lost 1 Rafale, because there's a lot of chatter in defense websites and defense magazines and newspapers about how America is worried. Look, there's a lot of foreign technology in this war. India is using S-400s. They are performing beautifully. The entire night, Pakistan targeted 15 cities and military installations. Nothing happened. Not a single casualty, and not a single hit. And so there was blocking. So Indian-made um, anti-air missiles, anti-drone missiles are working, as well as the S-400s have done a great job. That's Russian technology, not Western. And if Rafale has crashed, then it has crashed because a JC-10 has used PL-15, a Chinese-made missile, Chinese-made jet fighter, which has shot down a Western jet, Rafale. So here it is very clear that China's technology is superior to Rafale technology. This is the first Rafale that has crashed in battle. If you notice, there's no air-to-air battles taking place. Israel-Hamas war, it is Israel versus children, just killing women and children. It's like this mass murder. Israel has killed more children in the last 1 year than all terrorist groups combined in the last 25 years. The second war is not, there's not much air-to-air combat. You don't see Su-57s going against F-35s between Russia and Ukraine. They bomb and run, they bomb and run. So it's air versus ground. So this is a rare moment of 30, 40 minutes in which there was, even though both the set of air forces were in their own airspaces, there was air combat. And so a lot of military research institutions, etc., are looking at this. So I'm convinced that India did lose 1 Rafale. 4 is too much, even though American sources are saying that 1 JC-10 shot down 2 Rafales. So Pakistanis claim 5 or 6, which is a bit too much. Some people are saying that 3 jets were killed, 2 Rafales and 1 either Su-30 or MiG-29. And but 1 definitely, we don't know about the 2 because we can't find the debris. There's reporting by Indian media about 1 that fell, where Indian Air Force people came and commandos came and seized the place and took away the debris and pushed away the civilians. So I think there's 1 Rafale definitely that has crashed. The reporting about F-16 being shot down is not true, because the Americans would have immediately acknowledged that and announced that. So I don't think that really happened. India going for Tibet. I don't know what you mean by going for Tibet. India is not even going for Gilgit and Baltistan right now. This is a great opportunity. You are at war with Pakistan. Why is the Indian army moving into it? Maybe they are mobilizing, and if this war continues for another week or 2, that Indian army might move in to take POK. So this is an opportunity for the Indian army to increase its military presence on the ground and take Gilgit and Baltistan, POK. Muzaffarabad is so close. If you look at the map, that little sliver of territory that Pakistan has under its control. So India has not moved. Since 1949, the line of control has remained the same. Neither side has gained a single inch. Even though Kargil was designed to do that, India pushed it back. So if India is not able to handle, look, this war is a bonanza for China. I'm going to talk about it tonight as to how China is coming out a big winner in this war, because it's collecting data about India's performance. It has satellites in the space that are watching all the technology, Chinese technology that Pakistan is using, is testing it against India's capabilities. It's recording it. So this is like an intelligence on India's capabilities. You know, it's like you have a fast bowler and you go and watch the player in the nets and you see, oh my God, he has a good in-swinger. Oh my God, he has a good bouncer. So when you go and bat against him for the first time, you know what his strengths are. but the bowler doesn't know whether you're good at hooking or are you good at defense or not. So right now, there's no intelligence on China's military capabilities because what India is getting information is on what China gave to Pakistan, which are not the top of the line stuff. It is second grade stuff. So for China, this war is an intelligence bonanza. Sir, why is Indian Navy not engaging Rishabh? It is like kisse ladenge yaar. Pakistan has no navy at all. Pakistan has like 5 submarines and 3 of them don't work. Only 2 of them work. All the Indian Navy's job is to keep an eye on those 2 submarines, whether they come in. See, India is not being aggressive. Pakistan is being aggressive in this war. This Pakistan who shot and killed civilians on the line of control. It was Pakistan which broke the ceasefire more than 4 times before India launched Operation Sindoor. India's second attack on Lahore's air defense system. Even there, India attacked military installation in the second round. So India is playing like a good boy. So Indian Navy is there just defensive. Major Gaurav Arya on one channel, he was screaming that the INS Vikrant should go and burn down Karachi. India is not waging a war. So if I was listening to India's ambassador to the US, he was on CNN talking to Wolf Blitzer. He said that India is not at war with Pakistan. India is at war with terrorism. So India is still thinking through that prism that we are here to destroy Pakistan's capacity to project terrorism across the border. The initial intention was not to target Pakistan's defense capabilities. So now that Pakistan has retaliated, Pakistan says it is their defense, but their defense involves pretty massive firing over the line of control using first small hand pistols and guns, and then now they're using heavy mortar, which has killed a lot of people. And they have sent drones and they have sent missiles. So they are using mortars, missiles, air force. So they're attacking India in India. They attacked many of India's military installations. They have failed in their attacks, but nevertheless they are attacking. So that is why I think Indian Navy has not come into action. If India declares war on Pakistan in a massive way, then you will see the Indian Navy basically either blockading Karachi and preventing foreign ships coming in with weapons supplies, maybe Turkey or China. If they send weapons to China, that is where Indian Navy will come in to blockade Karachi and prevent those supplies. Or maybe even it can launch. It's an aircraft carrier after all, INS Vikrant. They can fly out of there and bomb. They can shoot missiles out of there. So it depends on them. Maybe they're waiting for the army to mobilize. I was listening to some Indian generals. Apparently, it takes about 3 weeks for India to mobilize. And I'm not sure whether India really wants a full-fledged war at this moment. The economy is in a flux. India thought that it had a lot of friends, but all its friends are asking India to de-escalate. Where is the Quad? The strongest support that India got is from Russia, not from the US, not from the European Union. They're all demanding that India de-escalate. There's a question by Ijazullah: how much is Baluchistan important in this war? Not much, unless the Baluchistan Liberation Army decides to join the war on the side of India. I don't think they will do that, because whatever little sympathy they have inside Pakistan, outside Baluchistan, that will be lost. So I think the Baluchistan Liberation Army will not join this place. There were also some complaints from the Baloch, because the Baloch main channel of Baluchistan was blocked in India. The idiots who are doing all this blocking in India, they can't understand. Like they blocked my channel also. I will share some of the statements that I'm getting from Pakistani Americans. They're just attacking me like crazy for saying that, oh, all you're doing is repeating what the Indian army says. So India blocked the Baluchistan Liberation Army or Baluchistan Liberation Movements websites and X account, etc. So they are not currently very happy with India. They're saying, why are you treating us as an enemy? We are fighting this same Pakistani state for independence. Yes, I do. This is a question by Rishabh again. By the end of this war, will popularity of Imran Khan? Rishabh, you need to send me a super thanks. This is the third question of yours. I think I'm answering. You don't have to. I'm just teasing you. Anyway, so by the end of this war, will popularity of yes, I think so, because I said this in the very beginning that a small war, a short war, is going to help Shehbaz Sharif and Asif Munir because Pakistanis are going to rally behind the flag. And because they are rallying behind their flag, now they are supporting the army and they are supporting. Already, I can see people who used to be very critical of the Pakistani army because of their support for Imran Khan are now praising the Pakistani Air Force. They are still critical of the army, but they are praising the Pakistani Air Force for its performance so far. So I think if Pakistan manages to keep going tit for tat with India for 3-4 days more, and then the war stops, the popularity of Pakistani army will definitely go up. Asim Munir will get his second term, and Shehbaz Sharif will also be strutting around saying, "Humne मुकाबला कर लिया हिंदुस्तान का." And Imran Khan's popularity will definitely go down because right now he's in prison. And what can he say? It's like Rahul Gandhi. What can Rahul Gandhi say that he cannot dare to be too critical of Modi's government? And he's so basically Shashi Tharoor is saying what Modi is saying and praising the Indian government. So this war is not helping Rahul Gandhi unless there's, God forbid, there's a disaster for the Indian Air Force or Indian military. So similarly, this war is not going to help Imran Khan. It's going to help Shehbaz Sharif and Asif Munir. Bhaumik Shukla ji, thank you very much. You know, if you look at air quality of India, आप जाके AQI check करें, the air quality of India is terrible in the winter and very good in the summer. So now I have traveled to India both in the winter and in the summer, and Alhamdulillah, I came back from Hyderabad last week and I was jet lagged. It took 30 hours because I had a long layover of 5-6 hours in Doha. But I came back, I immediately went to Detroit to give a talk, came back, immediately went to New York, spent a whole day in New York, then came back and then immediately went to Ocean City and came back late last night. So I've been traveling hectic and Alhamdulillah, I'm healthy and fine. So I think there is some truth to that. While India might be hot in the summer, the air quality is better. So I will try to come more often to India in the summer than in the winter. Thank you for asking. So, Mr. JX, मैं हैदराबादी हूँ यार, अभी तक पहचाना नहीं, काइकू. Anyway, I've forgotten the Hyderabad accent. I've been in the US for so long. And so thank you all of you for watching. And please share this video with others, like this video. And I will be back again on my Indian channel talking about the war itself. And I want to basically focus on what role China is playing in the India-Pakistan war, what is its influence on the war, what will be its impact on India, and also the Western angle. I think people in NATO as Washington, D.C. should be worried about the Chinese equipment that they are using. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in a few hours. Until next time, I'm your host, Muqtadar Khan.